Hello guys, welcome back. I hope everyone is doing great. So in today's video, we're talking about backup bottles. I'm talking about fragrances in my collection that I have backup bottles for. So I mentioned the idea of a video like this in one of my recent videos, and you guys commented that you would love to see the fragrances that I have purchased backup bottles for. So to be honest, until I actually went to get the bottles for this video, I had absolutely no idea how many fragrances I had backup bottles for. So I have backup bottles for 12 fragrances. So I'm going to quickly touch upon these 12 fragrances. And obviously I really like these, and it was important to me to get backup bottles for these fragrances. Not that I'm promoting that, not that I necessarily believe in backup bottles, but I guess I'm afraid that for these fragrances, I will go through my bottle and not be able to purchase another bottle. Some of them are discontinued and hard to find. So let's start with the first one from the house of Hermes, and this is Cuir d'Ange. So this is such a stunning fragrance, and so are most of the fragrances in the Hermescence line of Hermes. I am a big fan of the house. And so my backup bottles consist of one tester without a cap and one with the cap. So I'm using the one without the cap first. And this fragrance, although it's a leather fragrance, as the name would suggest, it actually translates to angelic leather. So it's a very clean and soft take on leather. There's nothing harsh, horsey, or animalic about this leather fragrance whatsoever. It's a very fine leather. It sits on the skin in such a smooth fashion, close to the skin. It's sort of, in a way, a transparent, translucent fragrance. Somehow you do get leather, but it's an interpretation of leather because, like I said, there's nothing animalic per se or horsey about this fragrance. It does have floral facets, and there's hawthorn in here, and it's also musky, so it has sort of a musky delivery. But at the end of the day, it's really a very fine, smooth, almost suede-like, clean, soft leather that goes a little bit powdery in the dry down. I'm not sure if there's heliotrope in here. It seems like there might be, but it's just a very beautiful fragrance from the house of Hermes. So I do have a backup bottle for this because I never want to be without a bottle of Cuir d'Ange. So the next one is from the house of Amouage, and you will see that I have quite a number of Amouage fragrances here. This is Epic Woman. So the 100 ml is the modern version, and my little tiny, well, it looks tiny, but it is a 50 ml. This is a non-magnetic cap, a more vintage version of Epic Woman. There is an extrait that's even older than this one, I believe. I believe the extrait is one of the original sort of formulations for Epic Woman. And this is a Cécile Zarokian along with other perfumers, but I think she sort of stole the show as the perfumer behind this fragrance. And this is a stunning, opulent fragrance. The word opulent comes to mind, although I didn't include it in my list of opulent fragrances in one of my last videos. But it really is an opulent fragrance. This is a very complex, rich fragrance. It's all about the spices in here. There is rose, there is this smoky tea facet, but you have pink pepper and you have cumin and you have cinnamon in here. And then at the base, there are woods, and in the dry down, I feel like it gets a little bit powdery. But again, it's all about the spices. It's rich, it's complex, very opulent, full-bodied, sort of floral fragrance. That's very exotic, I would say. Very exotic, and I feel like it's a dressy fragrance. It's a little bit dressier in terms of scent profile, but I really do love this one, and I love the fact that I have one of the older formulations along with the big bottle. So the next one is also from Amouage. This is Memoir Woman, and this is the current formulation, and then this one here is a 100 ml of the non-magnetic cap. This is a stunning fragrance. It is a dark, opulent fragrance. While it's floral, you have spices, you have incense running through the fragrance. And the star of the show is this absinthe note, which gives this sort of dark licorice aspect. And it is just so rich, so beautiful, so elevated. This one is even more opulent than Epic Woman, even more dressy in terms of scent profile. I feel like this one is one that I would reach for if I had an event, if I'm wearing like all black or I'm wearing a leather jacket. It's just a very, very dressy sort of fragrance. I know that it's 100% unisex. Men and women both love this. And again, I just love the absinthe note in here. The complexity in these fragrances, the older Amouage fragrances, is just stunning. There is a lot going on. So while you get the florals, you get the darkness from woods, you get the spices, you get the frankincense running through the fragrance, it just makes for a beautiful, beautiful, stunning fragrance. This one is stunning. So that's Memoir Woman. So the next one is another Amouage, and this is Figment Woman. I love the color of this bottle. I think this officially is discontinued. I love this fragrance. I don't love it as much as Epic and Memoir Woman, but I did get a backup because it is discontinued, and I do really like this one. So this is essentially a white floral fragrance. I get the gardenia and the tuberose in here. There are spices, there's cinnamon, there's a touch of cinnamon, and even a note of Szechuan pepper. So there's something very interesting contrasting the white floral aspect of the fragrance, and then you have that frankincense running through the fragrance. It's complex, it's beautiful, and there's something almost soapy clean in there. Even though there's a complexity to the fragrance, there is a soapy clean aspect. And even though this does have the spices and I'm describing it as complex, it's not dark. So I see this one as more of a daytime fragrance. I really do like this. I love white floral fragrances that are done well, and this one is multifaceted, and it really is a beautiful one. So I wanted a backup bottle of this one as well. So the next one is from the house of Van Cleef and Arpels, and this is Bois d'Iris. This fragrance is such a little gem in this house. I absolutely love this fragrance, and it's actually at a very, very great price point. I just saw this on Fragflex for $90, and usually there's always some sort of coupon. I got these on eBay. One was a tester with cap, and one was fully packaged in the original packaging, and I really do like this. If you like the idea of iris, woody, musky fragrance, this is a must try. If you like Christian Dior's Bois d'Argent, this one is a must try. It's sort of in that world, in that scent profile. There's something very classy about it, something very simple. It's so well made. Again, it's this iris, woody fragrance that has a musky component to it. It seems like there's something a little bit spicy in there as well, like a little bit peppery, even though I'm not sure that that's even a note in the fragrance. And I just think that it's simple, but well done. It's sort of an easy, clean scent profile, but it's not one of those ethereal, clean irises. It's a woody iris fragrance, so there's a little bit more to it. And I just really, really like this. I enjoy wearing this one a lot. So the next one from the house of Amouage, this is Opus I from the Library collection. So the backup bottle for this one is boxed. I don't have it here. I didn't carry it to the table. But this one I do have a backup bottle for. This is another sort of complex white floral fragrance. This is jasmine and tuberose, and there's this really great plum note in here. It's aromatic. There are woods in the base. This one is a little bit different from Figment Woman. I think this one is a little bit more exotic and has a little bit more of a darker sort of scent profile or a darker interpretation of the florals, the white florals in here. But it is so beautiful. I really, really love this. I like it even more than Figment Woman. This is definitely at the top of the list for me in terms of floral fragrances in my collection. So that is Opus I. The next one, again from Amouage, this is Opus IX from the Library Collection. This is a dirtied jasmine fragrance. It is a little difficult for some people to like and to wear. It's a little challenging. So you have jasmine that's sort of contrasted with this good amount of civet in here. So you do have an animalic quality for sure, and it's very, very prominent. You have beeswax for some sweetness. It's a rich fragrance. It's an animalic take on jasmine, and then you have this sort of woody base with a smooth, leathery component as well. So this is rich and opulent, but in a different way, in an animalic way, but that jasmine is so sexy in contrast to the civet in here and the leathery aspects. This is really a sexy fragrance. Again, I know a lot of people might consider this challenging. I consider this artistic. This is artistic perfumery, and I just love this, and I have a backup bottle of it, and it's sealed, and I did not carry it to the table. So that is Opus IX. Then we have a fragrance from the 90s. This is Dolce & Gabbana's Red Cap. I love this. This is 100 ml, and this is the 50 ml. And this is an aldehydic fragrance that is, in my opinion, focusing on orange blossom in here. So you have this sort of like honeyed floral facets that come along with the orange blossom. There's something almost a little bit soapy to my nose about the orange blossom in here, but it's delivered in this aldehydic way. And there is an herbal component. I think there's rosemary in here, and it's a little bit green. There are some green facets. It is absolutely stunning. I love this fragrance. I feel like it definitely is a fragrance that's identifiably a 90s fragrance, like that sort of perfumery. I love the aldehydic aspect of this fragrance. I do like aldehydic fragrances, but while it's aldehydic, I feel like it's also at the same time like a full-bodied fragrance. But it's definitely an uplifting fragrance. It's definitely on the brighter side of things, and I really do enjoy this one. And this has been reformulated so many times. I don't think it's discontinued, but this is the vintage formulations. There's something about the cap. I forget, when I was looking for these bottles, I knew all about what to look for. There's something about the cap and about the gold band, and so this is one of the original formulations, which I really do enjoy. I haven't smelt the current formulation or the more modern version, so I can't really speak to that, but the vintage original formulations is really, really nice. So the next one is from the house of Artisanparfumeur, and this is Tea for Two. So this bottle that's a little more full is older than this bottle, but this is discontinued. Bertrand Duchefort is the perfumer behind this fragrance, and this is a stunning tea fragrance. It's a tea that's not too dark and smoky. It's very, very cozy. There's a creamy element. There are spices in here. There's a complexity. I feel like it's a cup of tea with a splash of milk, some honey drizzled on top for a little bit of sweetness, paired with a spiced biscuit. It is cozy, and it's not an airy tea fragrance. It's more of a full-bodied, sort of interesting, multifaceted tea fragrance. And what I love is the creamy sort of aspect of it, the spicy aspects in here. And I like that it's not too dark and smoky. So that's Tea for Two. Also from the house of Artisanparfumeur, also perfumed by Bertrand Duchefort, this is Nuit de Tubéreuse. I really love this fragrance, and this, I believe, is discontinued. So this, even though tuberose is in the name, is not all about tuberose, in my opinion. It sort of takes tuberose in a different direction. There is a note of mango in here, so there's like this juiciness from mango, but it's not a juvenile, like fruity mango fragrance. It is so well done. It's all about the balance, and that's what I love about Bertrand Duchefort. His fragrances, the note listing is extensive, but it's all about the balance between all of the notes. So while this one is all about tuberose, there are tons of spices. There are definitely green facets in here. There's a note of angelica in here. In the base, you have woods. And it's sort of an uplifting, fruity take on tuberose. It is fruity, but again, it's not some juvenile, like fruity, sweet fragrance. It's really, really pretty. So that's Nuit de Tubéreuse. And by the way, even though that one is discontinued, if you want something that's very, very similar in that same ballpark, Neil of Vermeer's Picciola, which is also perfumed by Bertrand Duchefort, is somewhat similar to Nuit de Tubéreuse, worth trying. So the next one, again from the house of Amouage, this is Jubilation 25. This is a little 50 ml, and this is the 100 ml, both of them being the non-magnetic cap, older formulations. So this is such a beautiful Chypre fragrance. While Chypre fragrances are normally vintage style fragrances, this one manages to be very contemporary and modern. You have florals in here that to my nose give me a little bit of like that lipsticky effect. At the top, you have some freshness, and then at the base for the green components of the Chypre sort of scent profile, you have patchouli. There is something musky about this that almost comes off aldehydic. It is a stunning, full-bodied fragrance. And what I love about this is that even though it is a Chypre fragrance with the green components from the patchouli, it's not old smelling or dark smelling. It doesn't take a Chypre scent profile in a dark direction. It's really, really beautiful, and it's complex, and it definitely is a rich fragrance. It's rich. So it's not one that I reach for on a daily basis to wear to work, let's say. I could. It's perfectly fine, but it's definitely on the richer side of things, and it is stunning, and that's why I have 2 bottles. Okay, I think this is the last Amouage that I have a backup bottle for, and this is Dia Woman. This is so beautiful. This is so my scent profile. I would say that above all, I love soapy clean fragrances. And Dia Woman is an aldehydic soapy clean fragrance. You have to like aldehydic fragrances to like this one. It is an elevated bar of soap, an elevated like French fine milled bar of soap. It's floral, it's aldehydic, it's clean, and it is just beautiful. Really, really beautiful. I love wearing this, and I put a little bit of a dent in one of them. I forget which one I purchased a full bottle of and put a dent, and then I purchased a partial, but both of them have enough juice, so I'm so happy to have 2 bottles of this one. And I was mistaken, guys. It's not 12, it's 14 fragrances, so we have 2 more to go. So the next one is from the house of Armani Privé, and this is Musc Shamal. I love this, love, love, love this. And this, like a lot of the Armani Privé fragrances, are scent memories for me, because I owned my first bottle of this years ago, and then I decided to purchase a second bottle when I found a great deal that I couldn't pass up. So this is a musky fragrance that's sort of like in the world of baby powder in a bottle, but it's a fluffy, musky sort of take on a full-bodied baby powder. So it's not a musk that's translucent and transparent. It's a full-bodied, fluffy, like cloud-like fragrance. And I just love this scent profile, hence I like Dia. Dia is more aldehydic and translucent and transparent. This one is more dense. And I'm not gonna lie, there is sort of a synthetic quality in here that's prominent to my nose. I can pick it up, but it doesn't necessarily bother me. I just love this sort of like clean baby powder type of fragrance, and I really like the way it's done in Musc Shamal, so I'm glad to have 2 bottles of this. I spray this a lot at night. I wear this a lot to bed. So that is Musc Shamal. So last but not least is also from the house of Armani Privé. This is Rouge Malachite. I love this fragrance and I'm so happy to have 2 bottles. I sold a bottle to purchase these 2 because they're older formulations of Rouge Malachite, but this is a beautiful fragrance that focuses on tuberose, even though there is jasmine and orange blossom, and I think there's ylang ylang in here. At the top you have an herbal touch from sage and pink pepper, and then in the base you have some ambery components. There's a little bit of sweetness that comes from the benzoin in here. There's cashmeran, so it's very smooth and creamy. That's what I love about this. It's a very creamy sort of take on a white floral fragrance. Very, very smooth. There's nothing screechy about this or too heady. I feel like it's super feminine and I really, really love wearing this one. So I never want to be without a bottle of Rouge Malachite. So that's it for today, guys. Those are 14, even though I thought it was 12. Those are 14 fragrances in my collection that I have backup bottles for. Let me know in the comments if you guys are familiar with any of these fragrances. And as always, thank you so much for watching, your support, and all your comments. Until next time, bye guys.